This is the Sergio Rodriguez Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sergio Rodriguez Show, a show unlike any other. Today, 2 of the last 3 games remaining in the season, in the NFL season, were played. We're going to discuss the Tampa Bay upset win over Green Bay, the Kansas City win over Buffalo. We finally have our Super Bowl matchup as the Buccaneers become the first team in the history of the NFL to play in their home stadium during the Super Bowl. We're also going to discuss a little college basketball, just going to run you through some things that are prevalent right now in the sport as we are damn near about 8 weeks, maybe 6 weeks actually, from Selection Sunday. And then we're also going to have on today my good friend Kenny Davidoff from the New York Post to discuss the Yankees. We're going to go a little State of the Union with the Yankees right now. I wanted to catch him now before spring training starts, and then we'll obviously have him on again during spring training to catch our preseason update right before they start. And it'll be just all Yankees with Davidoff, since we've done a couple of shows on the Mets during the last week after the Lindor trade. Also later this week, I'm going to launch a show with Freddie Hill, former head basketball coach at Rutgers University. Fred Hill was also the assistant at Villanova. I mean, he's been all over the place. He's been a basketball lifer. He's starting a basketball academy. I mean, the guy's got more players in the NBA than you can shake a stick at. So that'll be good, and that'll come out later this week, probably either Thursday or Friday. But today, NFL, college hoops, and Kenny Davidoff. And let's get it started like this. Triangle Ink. Triangle Ink is the leading manufacturer in the screen printing industry, delivering the finest inks for over 35 years. Check them out at triangleink.com or call them at 1-800-524-1592. Paramus Driving School. Safety and professionalism begins with Paramus Driving School, serving the North Jersey area like no other. Contact them at paramusdrivingschool.com or call them at 201-986-8300. Vergona Cranes. Located at 180 West Forest Avenue in Englewood, New Jersey, Vergona Cranes operates 24 hours a day, providing crane rentals, trucking services, and warehousing for storage. Vergona Cranes services the New York and New Jersey area. Call them at 201-945-7209 or on their website at vergonacrane.com. You know, the football this week was good. I must tell you, I've been terrible with my picks in the postseason. You know, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that when I pick games during the regular season for gambling purpose, for you guys to pay your kids' college tuitions, I pick games and they're basically driven by the line. I don't really focus much on who the teams are, because I think that that's where gamblers get in trouble. And I've been bad. I think I'm 1-6, if I'm not mistaken. 1-6. I mean, I was 0-2 yesterday. I did not see a way that Tampa would win that game yesterday. And then I definitely can't believe that after Brady's 3 interceptions, which should have been 4 interceptions, that drop, that 4th interception, which would have been the first that he threw, was right before the blown coverage to end the second quarter, which basically made sure Tampa would be in the game the rest of the way. But Brady yesterday, 20 for 36, 280, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 33 for 48, about 5 to 8 more throws than I would have liked. I'm sure they would have liked also in that game plan. He threw for 346, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Rushing the ball, they were both equal yesterday. Nothing spectacular from either team. Tampa rushed for 76. I know Green Bay had 67. Godwin for Tampa, 5 for $110. Valdez-Scantling for Green Bay, 4 for 115 and a touchdown. But let's get to the elephant in the room here. Well, a couple of things. First of all, in that first half ends 21-10. During that first half, Green Bay blows a coverage when they should have been in an umbrella coverage in a prevent defense, where all they got to do is make a tackle because Tampa Bay's got no more timeouts. They have a ball at the 40 going in. They decide to play inside technique and let the receiver get outside of them and over the top for a touchdown. They do that. The play before that, Brady just chucks up a ball. The safety just flat out drops it. They had Tampa at 14-10, Tampa. No, you know what? Yes, the game was 14-10. Brady throws up a Hail Mary basically in the middle of the field that would have gotten them off the field, would have gotten Green Bay off the field. It was a 3rd and about 9, and Brady just basically threw it up the middle of the field. That play was made, so they gave up that big chunk play. You know, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. They also didn't score on a 1st and goal from the 3. So Green Bay's doing everything they could to lose this game in the first half. And yet, they were still just that blown coverage on the last play of the game, essentially, away from getting out of there at 14-10 down. Okay. Let's fast forward to 21-10. Green Bay fumbles. Coming out of the half. Tampa takes it right down, scores a touchdown, 28-10. At 28-10, I said to myself, this game is going to get to 28-24. The question is, will Green Bay be able to make 2 stops? Or make a stop, to give themselves a chance to take the lead? Well, not only they made 1, they made 2. They gave themselves 2 opportunities and went 3 and out on both opportunities. But let me take you back to when they made the game 28-23. I've been saying this all year, and I've been saying this probably for about the last 6 or 7 since they instituted the 2-point rule, the 2-point conversion rule. These coaches refuse to learn how to use this play. They love to chase points. They always look at what could benefit them if they put themselves in a positive situation. But they never look at the negative effect of not getting the 2-point conversion. Here's what I mean. So Green Bay scores a touchdown in the middle of the 3rd quarter. The middle of the 3rd quarter to make it a 5-point game. If they kick the extra point and go down 4, they're still going to touch the ball 3 or 4 more times. Even a field goal by Tampa Bay assures you that you're a touchdown out. What do? They go for 2. Why? To get to within 3 points. For what? For what? You go for a low percentage play, which you don't get. So now you're down 5. Let's stop it right there. Now you fast forward to 4th and goal from the 8 with 2 and change left. Everybody's going crazy. because LaFleur sends out the field goal unit. Now, look, I'll probably tell you that if it's me, I'm going for it. But I probably would have ran a different third down play. Because if I know I'm in 4-down territory, I'm gonna coach that situation differently. So maybe I'm not gonna end up with a 4th and 8. Maybe I'm gonna end up with a 4th and 3. But he needed 2 scores. Now I know that everybody's gonna say, well, you know, if you score a touchdown, you gotta go for 2. Yeah, but that's still 2 scores. The problem here is this: if he would have kicked the extra point early, and he's down 7, he goes for it. But being down 8, he's looking up and he says, well, even if we scored a touchdown and we don't get the 2-point conversion, we're still going to need another score. So let's take the field goal here. We still have 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. We could get the ball back. They don't get the ball back because of a pass interference call, which again was a pass interference, but there was pass interference the whole game. Not one penalty was called, and then they decide to decide the game with a pass interference call. But to me, the debate of whether he should have gone for it, shouldn't have gone for it, to me, that's garbage. The issue here was all of this got shaped up by not kicking an extra point. These coaches refuse to kick extra points. They don't kick field goals when they have to. They're always chasing points. The idea is to make someone else chase the points. Make the team trailing chase the points. Now, if you're Green Bay and you're driving down, 4 minutes to go, and you score, you're down 11, and you score, and you want to make it a 3-point game because you only have 1 possession left, yeah, I get that. That's what you do. But they don't know how to use this 2-point conversion. There's no need to start using it in the middle of the third quarter. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. The night game, Kansas City beat Buffalo 38-24. Mahomes, 29 for 38 and 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 28 for 48, 287, 2 touchdowns and an interception. We spoke about Buffalo's inability to run the ball the whole year. They got a lot. They were better from this aspect than, let's say, a team like Pittsburgh was. They were better in total rushing yards because Josh Allen even got 88 yesterday, but they still struggled to run the ball. I mean, Buffalo ran the ball for 41 yards on 11 carries. Kansas City got a big lift from Darrell Williams. Remember, Hilaire came into the game banged up, chose to play, really wasn't effective, and Le'Veon Bell did not play either. But Darrell Williams, 13 for 52, and they also got a big run by McCall Hartman, who had a 50-yard run. But essentially, this game came down to this. Mahomes played well, and the other superstars showed up for Kansas City. Hill, 9 for $172. Kelsey, 13 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Buffalo learned a valuable lesson. You can't win these games kicking field goals. They were 4 for 4 kicking field goals, but you can't win these games like that. So Buffalo's up 9-0 after a muffed punt, which ends up going into for a touchdown on the following play. So now they're up 9-0, okay? They do their job. They gave up a touchdown to Kansas City, but they forced them to go 14 plays. And to be fair, Kansas City had a 3rd and 12, completed a pass, got 11, then went for it on 4th and 1, got it, and ended up punching it in. Okay, no problem. 9-7. Buffalo's ensuing possession, they punt. Kansas City comes down, scores a touchdown. 14-9, no need to panic because you expect them to score. You got to go down and you got to do something here. Even a field goal in that situation would have been fine. They punt again. Kansas City takes the ball, 9 plays, 21-9. Now you're in a situation where now you got to play catch up essentially the entire game. That's rough. then you can't be kicking field goals. But what does Buffalo do? They close the half with a 12-play, 73-yard drive that ends up in a field goal. They needed a touchdown there. And then out the half, they gave up field goal, touchdown. And they just didn't have enough. They didn't have enough. I thought Buffalo would win the game. I really felt that Kansas City had been dodging a bullet the entire second half of the season in a lot of these games, and I thought that it would come back to bite them. But no, they got it done. And kudos to them, and kudos to Mahomes for showing up and playing after essentially 7 days after the injury that knocked him out of the game versus the Browns. Lucimer Auto Body, located at 27 Austin Street in Newark, provides top-of-the-line service to make your collision experience as smooth as possible. Go to lucimer.com or call them at 973-824-0113. M&J Luxury Inc. For the most unique experience in the medical transportation business, call M&J. Located in New York City with over 1,000 cars at your disposal, call them at 718-278-2222 or 914-484-7264. Fairfield Physical Therapy. Located in the Fairfield Commons, Suite G106 is owned and operated by Justin Solotov, who has over 20 years experience in the field of orthopedic physical therapy. Call Justin at 973-276-1313 and stop living with pain and discomfort. Epic Car Service. Recognized as the #1 car service in New York City by medical transportation standards, located in the Bronx, New York, Epic Car Service will make your commute a safe and comfortable experience. Call Epic at 718-401-3742 or 844-666-6278. You know, the line for the game came out, and Kansas City is a 3-point favorite in that game. They are a 3-point favorite, and I believe the total's 57. So I'm not going to get too crazy into the game because, to be fair, we have next week's show, and we're going to try to see if we could get on a big guest for the Super Bowl show. And so we'll discuss the game there during that. But once again, I must tell you, I will lay this on you. I'm surprised at the line. I was surprised at the Green Bay line with Tampa. I felt it should have been higher. And I'm surprised at this line again. And I don't want to hear the home field stuff because there's really no home field advantage. So I was just surprised, very surprised by that. Very surprised by the line. Let's go around the sports world here in college basketball. A couple of things of notes that are going to jump out at some people. Michigan's been just lights out this year, phenomenally playing just great basketball. Kudos to Juwan Howard, by the way. They're ranked 4th in the country behind Gonzaga, Baylor, and Villanova. Now they're going to go on a 2-week break because of COVID. Do they come back and stay as sharp as they've been? That'll be something to keep an eye on. The SEC, better than I said they would be. I got to eat a little crow here because I thought the SEC was really, really just going to be a 2 or 3 team race. But Alabama's gotten in the mix. They're all the way up to 9th in the country right now. They're 13-3, 8-0 in the SEC, and they're damn near scoring 80 points every game. It's funny because I thought that Kentucky was going to be able to survive that slow start because the league was weak, but the league is not going to let them survive this. Kentucky's, I mean, there's just no way they can get back into the NCAA picture with the way the league has played better than I thought. Shaka Smart, who to be fair, was a year away from being fired if Texas didn't do some damage this year in college hoops. Is ranked 5th in the country, and now it was announced today that he's going to take some time off because he's got to deal with COVID issues. So that's unfortunate for him. I hope he gets better. He's a good dude. In that same league, right? Speaking of the Big 12, right? Kansas is on a 3-game losing streak, but they're still ranked 15th in the country, but they're struggling right now. They're struggling to consistently shoot the basketball and consistently make plays in the backcourt. They're going to be a NCAA team with a solid seed, but I don't know if this backcourt is going to be enough for them to win a couple of games and get to the Sweet 16 this year, which, you know, is almost a custom with Kansas watching these guys play every year. So we'll see. We'll see how that shapes up. Kansas still has a couple of weeks to try to, schedule, not schedule, to clean that up and get a little bit more consistent in their play. I was looking at Joe Lunardi's breakdown of teams that he feels are going to make the NCAA tournament. He still has 10 Big Ten teams making it. And that's after Rutgers, who basically has fallen off a cliff since that hot start, and Indiana, who actually lost to Rutgers this week, and Michigan State has not been sharp either. So I think those 3 teams could hurt that 10-team prediction that Lunardi has right now. The thing with those teams is they get so many opportunities to tack on quality wins because they're always playing each other. He's got 7 teams from the Big 12, 6 from the SEC, 6 from the ACC, and 5 apiece from the Pac-12 and the Big East. His last 4 byes are Rutgers, Indiana, North Carolina, and Arkansas. Arkansas, again, from the SEC. And Arkansas, another team that fills it up offensively. They were off to a hot start. And they've cooled off with a couple of those games, but they got off to a hot start. The last 4 in are Michigan State, Stanford, Utah State, and Richmond. Utah State is really good, but they can't afford any other losses because when you're playing in a league like that, you can't afford losses because you're not going to have shots to get quality wins. Richmond's being hurt a lot here by their one quality win early in the year, which was Kentucky. The first 4 out, San Diego State, Maryland, Marquette, and Pitt. Pitt, who beat Duke this week, and they've played themselves in. They're doing a phenomenal job. That program was dead after Jamie Dixon left, and now it's reviving with some good, solid players, including Champagny, the Champagny brother, whose twin brother is at St. John's. The next 4 out, Duke, Syracuse, Providence, who I believe will play themselves in, and Loyola Chicago. I'll feel better when I see Duke like way out, like next 4 out. I don't want to see Duke there. Who cares about Duke? This interview, moving forward, right? The interview with Kenny Davidoff coming up right now of the New York Post is brought to you by Stan Sports Center. Stan Sports Center is your local full-service authorized team dealer for all of your favorite sports brands. Family owned and operated, Stan's has proudly supplied apparel, uniforms, equipment, varsity jackets, and much more for the entire tri-state area since 1946. Find them online at stansportsctr.com and contact them today for your sporting goods needs. And joining me right now on the Sergio Rodriguez Show from the New York Post, the great Kenny Davidoff. Kenny, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Can't complain. A lot of Mets talk on my show recently, and I needed to get you on to speak Yankees because I'm getting a lot of messages that I'm becoming a Met fan. So here we go, and let's go right to the top. The Yankees make a move to get Jameson Taillon from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Guy coming off 2 Tommy John surgeries. Cancer. He's a cancer recovery,
Survivor.
Right, survivor. They signed Corey Kluber earlier. What does this Yankee staff look like? In your opinion, is this a team that's going to be still on paper playing in 2018, or are they ready to compete this year in 2020?
First of all, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Good. Yeah, this is a fascinating pitching staff, Serge. I mean, this pitching staff is all upside and zero reliability. And I don't think there's ever been a pitching staff put together like this. And I shouldn't say zero reliability because they do have Garrett Cole. He's extremely reliable and great. But behind him, you're talking about a bunch of guys that have really high upside, but haven't pitched in a while. You're talking about Luis Severino, who had Tommy John surgery I think it was either February or March of 2020 and won't be expected back until the All-Star break. You got Jameson Taillon, who missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery. You've got Corey Kluber, who pitched 1 inning in 2020 before tearing something in his shoulder. And then you got Domingo Germán, who missed the last year and a half roughly because of domestic violence suspension. All 4 of those guys can be a number 1 or 2, whatever you want to call it, but none of them is necessarily reliable.
We spoke earlier. We disagreed on one thing. I felt the Yankees are still set up to be ready for 162 games because I do believe that even if Kluber or Taillon do not hit, I still believe that the Yankees, with their offense and enough pitching, and when I mean enough pitching, I'm talking about even if you have to piece together with a bullpen, a start, or whatever, this season, everyone is going to be using 6 and 7 starters because these guys aren't stretched out. So I think they're going to be fine in terms of winning 100. I don't know how they're going to be in a short series, but you seem to think that it's the opposite, that they could be hurt in 162. Explain.
Yeah, really just reiterating the point I just made, Serge. I mean, I understand your point. Yeah, they have serious roster depth. They've got a great offense. They should have a very good bullpen. They might be able to stake their way through this 162, through 162 into the playoffs. But I guess the point I was making was if they hit on these guys, even really if they hit on one of Kluber, Taillon, Severino, Germán, and if they can have 2 elite starters in the postseason, one of those guys along with Cole, then it's a different ballgame.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're talking about it. So I'm not sure. You and I like to shatter each other. It's fun, but I think we probably agree more than we disagree on this one.
I guess, yeah, because when I look at it...
I hate to let you down because I know how much you argue.
I guess my thing is that I believe that Davy Garcia and Montgomery as a 5th and 6th or a 6 and 7 are going to be better with the Yankees offense than everybody else's 5th and 6 or 6 and 7. So even if they have to get into that situation where those guys have to pitch meaningful innings throughout the season, I still think that they're going to be fine.
I get it. I think there's zero behind Garrett Cole, and that's the big behind. He's the top paid pitcher in baseball for a reason. I don't think they have a single reliable entity, which I think Tanaka would have given them, which I think Jake Odorizzi would have given them. And I get it. Those guys don't have the same upside as some of the guys now on the Yankees roster. But it's a very interesting high-risk gambit.
Why did the Yankees go off Tanaka? Was it just money?
No, I don't think it was money. I mean, I'm sure money was a factor, but it's pretty clear from this roster they've constructed that they are aiming for upside, that they're counting on their health and training people, health training and conditioning to keep these guys healthy, and that these guys, when healthy, are better than Masahiro Tanaka.
Will Tanaka pitch in the big leagues this year?
It's a great question, sir. I was just talking about that earlier with the baseball person. I think there's a real chance he goes back to Japan. I can't see Masahiro Tanaka just going to any old Major League Baseball team. He's like a cosmopolitan guy. I mean, in the most positive way. He really, really likes pitching in New York. He's a family man. It's not like he's Joe Namath in 1969. But he really likes New York. I think he likes Southern California. I'm not sure he's that excited about pitching in too many other places. And he's on record as saying that he very well might go back to Japan. And given that it now seems extremely unlikely he's going back to the Yankees, I think that significantly increases the possibility that he'll go back to Japan.
Could you see a scenario where June 15th his phone rings and the Yankees say, "Hey, we need you," and he comes back?
I mean, he's pitching in Japan. They're not going to let him out of that contract.
Maybe he puts an out in it. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, that does no. You should be shocked. That does not happen. That does not happen.
Okay. Is Severino going to be ready to start the season?
No, I think I just said he will be ready around the All-Star break. His surgery was late February, early March of 2020, and normally you're talking 16 months or so. So he absolutely will not be ready for opening day unless opening day winds up being July 23rd again, which is not entirely out of the realm of possibility, but highly unlikely.
Is Herman, all his troubles behind him? Like, in other words, is he coming in with a clean slate now, or is MLB still, giving him some issues with that? I mean, because that, what was worse about if smacking your wife is not bad in itself, what was worse is where he did it and who he did it in front of.
You're saying some stuff that is not necessarily public knowledge, Serge. So
okay. oh, you mean I'm divulging information nobody should know? Okay, well then let's move on from that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking in all seriousness, I'm talking about privacy protection for the woman involved.
Correct. Davy Garcia, the Yankees fooled around last year early in the season, early in that playoff game. I'm sorry. Instead of letting him pitch, they pulled him. The kid looked like he had it going on early. Is he going to be in the mix?
He's very much in the mix. And I'm still, how many months out are we from that? We're January, so almost 4 months out from that. I still remain fully perplexed over why they did that. Why did they even give the kid a shot? I mean, he was such a competitor, got good stuff. I still am in shock that I thought they sabotaged their own postseason right then and there in that game. And but I do think he'll very much be part of the mix moving forward.
Two more before we move to the bullpen. Is Montgomery finally healthy?
Yeah. I mean, he was healthy for all of last year's little mini season, and he had some peaks and valleys. But I thought, he did start the last game the Yankees won of the entire season, and he didn't pitch great, but I thought he showed real fortitude and getting out of some jams, and I like Jordan Montgomery. I don't think he'll be an ace, but I think he can be a solid number 4, number 5 guy.
All right. So I believe I believe they're going to go with 6 starters early in the year. You believe it'll be Cole, Tyon, Kluber, Herman, Garcia, and then Montgomery is number 6?
You didn't say Montgomery twice there? Wait, Cole?
No, it's
Cole, Kluber, Tyon, Herman.
Yep. And then Garcia and Montgomery, 5, 6.
Montgomery, Garcia. Yeah, that's 6. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Speak to me about the bullpen, because the Yankees need Ottavino to have a bounce back year. Otherwise, they lost Canely. If Ottavino doesn't come back and is that guy, I don't know if the Yankees bullpen has as much separation as it has over the last couple of years from everybody else.
I think that's very fair. First of all, it wouldn't surprise me in the least that they traded Ottavino just to clear salary space. They're trying to stay under the luxury tax threshold. And I do think they don't necessarily have the depth that they've had in recent years when it comes to the bullpen. I'm looking now at MLB.com. So Chapman, Britton, Ottavino, Green. Those are your four quote-unquote elite guys. Ottavino has that upside. He
Correct.
bad
I like
year.
Ottavino.
Yeah. Then it's Sessa, Loaizaga, Albert Abreu, Nick Nelson, Ben Heller. So, what any good team needs, and we very much saw it with the Rays last year, they need to come up with guys, bullpen in particular. They need to come up with guys who we're not really thinking about here in January, but come October, you're like, all right, well, that guy's now a dude. That's someone you can count on. And the Yankees have been very good at doing that over the years, including Chad Green, including, Tommy Kahnle he certainly shows himself with the White Sox, but I think he took it to a different level with the Yankees. So they need to develop guys like that.
Is there anyone in the organization, well, even let's say a Davy Garcia, who let's say they don't feel he could be, if he doesn't make that starting rotation, is he a guy that they can throw there? Would they fool around, or they're not going to fool around with Davy Garcia? They're going to leave him as a starter full boat.
I think the idea is you let a guy start until he can't start. And going back to Mariano Rivera,
correct,
was best closer ever, also a failed start. So yeah, I think they would very much. They think Garcia has the potential to be a starter, and they'll give him that some rope. But yeah, if he backtracks from last year, then by all means, putting him in the bullpen would be an option.
All right, let's talk about this Yankee lineup. The Yankees sign LeMahieu. They give him his money. So essentially, the team is set for the most part. Sanchez behind the plate. Am I going to have to see this dumb rotation between Sanchez and Higashioka? Or are the Yankees just going to let the guy that's going to hit 35 and drive in 100 just play behind home plate for 125 games?
Well, what's 60% of 162? Roughly 100, right? 160?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the ideal balance there. I very few catchers start 120 games nowadays. I know you're hopelessly old school, Serge, but yeah, that just doesn't happen very much anymore.
Okay, but if he starts 100 and DHs 20, the fact is Sanchez is going to hit, 28 to 32 home runs, and he's going to. No other catcher is going to do that, realistically. So, are the Yankees going to fool around with that, or are they going to give me a guy that's going to bat 230 because the guy strikes out less? Because that's the thing that I got to hear. Strikeouts don't matter in baseball for anybody. Only Sanchez. The right fielder strikes out 200 times a year. It doesn't matter. The catcher strikes out 170 times a year. They got to go get somebody that bats 220 to play for him.
All right, my friend. So I'm looking at Gary Sanchez in 2020. Stepped up to the plate 178 times. That's including walks. Struck out 64 times. That was pretty alarming.
It was. Last year was alarming. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything different. But here's the question. How many times did the right fielder step up to the plate?
Sanchez. You're not going to dispute that anyone had a worse 2020 than Gary Sanchez.
No, Gary Sanchez. The only maybe me. I probably had a worse 2020.
Well, I'm going to rank you no matter what the year. You're going to rank at the bottom.
Thank you. Okay, but you expect Sanchez to be the main catcher, right?
That will certainly be the plan. But again, I want to stress we're talking 60-40. If not 55-45. I think they really like Higashioka. He is a superior game caller and defensive catcher to Sanchez, and that's going to factor into it. He also has some pop. Maybe he wouldn't hit 35 homers over the course of the season, but he had three in one game last year. He does have some pop.
You know what's funny? Everybody tells me that defense matters, but with these shifts, every ball is either hit at these guys or a base hit. Nobody steals anymore. And realistically, I brought up this stat the other day. In the last two World Series champions, or the last 4 teams that have played in the World Series, they have 1 Gold Glove combined. So, this defensive narrative anymore, even at the catching position, to me, really is highly overrated. Take me to first base, though. Voit, all set. The Yankees have they're not going to fool around with some Mike Ford guy, right?
I mean, Mike Ford could be on the team, but Luke Voit is an everyday first baseman. I don't think there's any question about that.
Do they have any questions about Urshela being the third baseman and Andujar pushing him?
No, Urshela is set there. I mean, Andujar remains an enigma, and really just about where he fits. I think his talent is obvious. It's just where does he best fit, and is that best fit on the New York Yankees, or is it a trade chip to get something else?
In the outfield, Judge will play his usual 100 games, hit his 27 home runs, and drive in his 67 runs, and everybody will tell me that he's a $300 million player, right?
Nobody is telling you that. Well, 0 people are telling you that.
Got it. So we're going to have to find someone to play 60.
That's called a straw man.
Oh, okay.
That's called a straw man.
So I have to find someone to play 60 games in right field, the 60 that Judge doesn't play. Hicks is in center. He'll play 87 games, so I got to find someone to play 80 game or 78 games there or something like that in that range in center field. Mm-hmm. And then Frazier and Tauchman, I'm assuming, are in the corners. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then Tauchman. Look, I'd be very surprised if Brett Gardner did not come back.
Wait a minute. You mean I'm not rid of Brett Gardner yet?
Oh, man, Serge. Man, oh, man. What am I going to do with you?
You have to. You mean to tell me that they can't find a cheaper option to actually be a 5th outfielder than Brett Gardner? You're going to pay a guy $5 million to be a 5th outfielder when you can find someone for $600,000?
First of all, let's calm yourself down. Let's sit in a chair, get you a drink, put something nice on the TV for you.
I know, but you just know how I am. That Brett Gardner thing just gets me going.
And your Brett Gardner thing gets me going because it's absurd. I mean, the Brett Gardner had a .354 on base percentage last year in the reduced season and still played stellar defense. I mean, Brett Gardner is still an asset, and you mentioned $5 million. I'm going to bet the under on that. I bet he makes less than that.
I just don't.
And he is an important clubhouse presence. He is very much respected in that clubhouse.
When you tell me that they might trade out Avino for cap space, and then you're telling me that they're going to add a 5th outfielder, which I believe is going to be at about $5 million. You could tell me it's less, but oh my God, Brett Gardner, Jesus, I just can't. I can't do that. Another year of Brett Gardner. That's why I'm bold. It's because of that.
You're bold?
Bald. Yeah, that's why I lost all my hair. It's guys like Brett Gardner. Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Brett Gardner's a really good Major League Baseball player, even at his advanced age.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, we can disagree on that. Stanton, DH.
Yeah.
For a good 79, 80 games.
You were very much hitting on the main concern of this team. You mentioned Stanton, Hicks, Judge, and then we went over the pitching. Yeah, major concerns about durability.
And Duhar's going to end up playing 140 games just because there's always going to be a place for him to play.
Wouldn't rule that out. Would not rule that out.
Any surprises? Any scoop you want to break before we finish up here? I called you the other night and you were on some deadline. You sounded like you were really like burning the midnight oil. So I'm sure that you have some type of scoop going on. What are you working on? Come on.
If I have any scoop, and I love you, my man, I'll give you my time, but not my scoops. I'll give my scoops to the people that pay me.
All right. Is there is there a story you're working on that's already public knowledge that you're just wrapping up a ribbon on?
My Hall of Fame ballot launched about 10 minutes before you called me.
Okay. Please tell me you didn't put Scott Rowland on your Hall of Fame ballot.
I can tell you that, but I'd be lying.
Do you know? Oh, my God. I looked at everybody's ballot. Let me tell you something about Scott Rowland, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Aramis Ramirez and Scott Rowland, you will be shocked how similar the numbers are. In fact, in a lot of categories, Ramirez actually leads. About the only thing you can probably do to defend voting a guy like Scott Rowland into the Hall of Fame over a guy like Aramis Ramirez, which, first of all, I don't even think any of them are Hall of Famers, I'm just saying, would be to use that made-up WAR stat that has some players ranked in the top 5 for the last 2 years, that like Lance Lynn, okay? And talk to me about some defensive category which runs saved, which realistically, like I said, that's an untangible stat. You can't really measure that. You're assuming that. But statistically, if I show you the numbers, you wouldn't be able to pick out who's who.
I'm confident I would. I'm looking at both of them right now.
Okay.
What do you want me to tell you? I think Scott Rowland is and defense is the main factor there. Scott Rowland had a
come on. Other than Ozzie Smith and Louis Aparicio, who makes it as a defensive player if you're not a catcher or a light hitting shortstop from the 60s, 70s, and 80s? If you're a corner, you make it because you can hit. Nobody makes it because they can field.
You make it because you're a very, very good hitter and an elite defender. And that combination gets you in. It's like you. You have a very good personality, but not an A-plus personality.
Got
but
it.
As your looks are A-plus.
Oh,
so
thank you. I appreciate that.
You are a Hall of Fame.
Listen,
now you understand.
I understand it, but to me, never once did I watch Scott Rowland and play and say, that guy is the elite of the elite. Never. Not once. Not once. And there's a bunch of those guys on that ballot. Hey, can I ask you a question before I let you go? Why is it that guys vote for Clemens and Bonds, which they should be in anyway, but why is it that guys, and I know you vote for them, so I give you respect for that. Why is it that guys vote for Clemens and Bonds, but don't vote for Sammy Sosa?
We've had this exact conversation, Serge. I can picture.
But I know why you. Okay, but we've done it privately. I want you to put this on the air because people ask me this all the time, and I just don't get it.
Well, okay. First of all, I voted for all three this year: Roger, Barry, and Sammy.
Okay,
but I mean, look, Sammy has a 609 home run, of course, but. I mean, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, and again, taking the PEDs out of the conversation, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds are among the top 10, 15 players in baseball history.
Correct.
I mean, Sammy, I would maybe top 50, top 75, which still should get him in the Hall of Fame. But, I mean, Sammy cannot be compared to Roger or Barry.
No, I'm not. Let me ask you a question. For your money, better player.
You just did. It's not, once you edit this recording, you did. You asked me why people voted for Barry and Roger, but not Sammy. So I gave you the answer.
Yeah, but you don't think Sammy Sosa was a better player than Mark McGwire?
I do think he was a better player.
Was he better than Scott Rowland? Was he better than Scott Rowland?
No, I mean, no. I rank them. No, he ranks beneath Rowland. But again, I do vote.
Be kidding me. Let me tell you, even if you cut Sammy Sosa's home runs in half, let's say you were to tell me, okay, the PEDs factored in, and you cut him in half, he probably still has as many as Scott Rowland.
Right, but Sammy, again, going back to your good looks, everything goes back to your good looks. Scott Rowland was an elite defender.
Oh, please.
Sammy Sosa was a defensive liability. So again, if we went to your B+ personality and changed your looks from an A+ to an F, you would no longer be a Hall of Famer. You got that?
Fact is, he's won. You can count on, I guess, one hand. Well, maybe the second, right? 600 home runs. It's 5, might be 6. Sosa, Pujols.
609 home runs is amazing. It's
Okay.
amazing. No matter what he used, it's amazing.
Okay, so I don't know. And definitely not like 7%. Like nobody votes for him. Nobody. It's not even like they're omitting him, by he's getting 35% of the votes and some people have an issue with the corked bat or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's nobody votes for him except for you.
Well, there's more than just me because he stayed on the ballot. But let me, if you want to engage on this. I mean, I hate speaking for other voters because I can speak only for my own ballot. But I do think there's the notion that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were Hall of Fame talents who used steroids in their later years. And again, I'm just presenting this.
Correct.
This is not my argument.
Correct.
That in their later years decided I need to keep up with the Joneses here. And I'm going to use steroids. Whereas Sammy Sosa, the theory goes, was a nobody until he decided to use steroids. So that's not me. So don't yell at me. But
all right,
I do.
I'm going to look. Did you post your ballot?
I did. It's up online now.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at that, and I'll shoot you a text later. Last question. Will Alex Rodriguez get into the Hall of Fame?
No.
Will David Ortiz get into the Hall of Fame?
Man, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, because all you guys – yeah, no, it is because all you guys covered up
all you guys.
All right, all your colleagues covered up his steroid usage as David being David. So I want to see how they're going to handle that one.
That's a good one. I mean, he'll – I'm 99% sure he'll get my vote, but I'm fascinated to see. Only because I'm 99% sure I'm not going to, punch you in the face after this. I never commit to anything 100%.
Okay.
But I am very fascinated to see what his first year return looks like.
Will you vote for Alex?
Yeah, again, 99%.
But that's your guy. That is not fair because that's your guy. You always had a soft spot for Alex. You understood him.
Look, Alex is, he's up there with Barry and Roger when you take the TDs out of the equation, in terms of the top 10, 15 all time. I would not say Big Papi is at that level, but, Big Papi, I'm pretty certain I'll be voting for him.
Kenny, you're the best.
Serge, it is better to look good than to feel good, right?
Amen, man. I appreciate you giving me your time, and I'll catch you sometime around spring training. Hopefully it's in March.
All right, man. We'll see. We'll see what they do.
That was Kenny Davidoff from the New York Post, and you've been listening to the Sergio Rodriguez Show, a show unlike any other.